What movie to do for the Halloween special next? Well, let's look on the shelf here. Looking that one doesn't look scary. American Psycho. This one looks promising. Cool cover. Christian Bale. Oh my god. It even has a watermark.
Yep. This is the one. We're gonna watch this one. Welcome back to the 2020 Halloween series, y'all. Today we are looking at the other film on this playlist with the word psycho in the title, American Psycho, directed by Mary Harron and starring Christian Bale as Patrick Bateman, the protagonist and a real piece of shit. Now, Christian Bale plays Patrick Bateman here, and he is the most narcissistic businessman you could ever come across. He's 27 years old, a Harvard graduate, and he has a great job as a stockbroker on Wall Street. But he also lives a second life as a gruesome serial killer by night. And this film excellently explores all the elements that make one man a monster. So I know what you're thinking at this point. I realize that this is not exactly the monster movie y'all were expecting on this playlist. I also realize that this film, quite frankly, isn't all that scary. But quite simply, I had to talk about this movie because number one, a lot of people have requested that I talk about this one. Number two, it is extremely bloody compared to the other Psycho movie we reviewed yesterday. And number three, this film is something that I really wanted to dissect with you guys further because if there's one thing this movie is, it is an excellent character study. It is a character study that is so incredibly unique from every other feature film I've seen throughout my life. And God's honest truth, I've only seen American Psycho a small handful of times, including the rewatch I had last night of this, and honestly, this is one of my all-time favorite movies. I'm serious. This movie freaking rules. And a lot of that has to do with Christian Bale's performance here as Patrick Bateman. My god, was he good in this. This was honestly Oscar-worthy back in the year 2000. Not nominated, oddly enough. But this character just has so many layers to him. And Bale does a great job of showing these layers to us without really showing a whole lot of emotion in his monologues really at all. And yes, you heard me right. I did say monologues, plural. There are loads of instances throughout American Psycho where Patrick Bateman will go on various tangents. And basically, he's just talking with his victims about some of his favorite musicians. Huey Lewis and the News, Phil Collins, just to name a few, all right before he slaughters them. What a stand-up guy this is, huh? And a lot of his dialogue is just so damn quotable as well. You guys are aware I spoofed that infamous scene where Patrick Bateman and his colleagues are comparing business cards, the whole, oh my god, it even has a watermark shtick. Side note, that was really fun going back and rewatching that. Also, that whole scene where he kills Paul Allen, played excellently here by Jared Leto, it's just so damn funny. The delivery from both guys here and the eventual reversal that follows, gold. And that brings me to actually the biggest thing that I wanted to discuss with you guys in this video. Whenever I recommend this movie to one of my friends, I always tell them one thing. Do not, I repeat, do not go in expecting a serious dramatic thriller. Because if you do that, you're gonna think all of this acting is absolutely horrendous. It might be one of the worst movies you think you've ever seen in your life. And you'll be really sad that you're not in on the joke. That's correct, ladies and gentlemen. At its core, American Psycho is a dark comedy. Why? It all goes back to these performances, this razor-sharp writing, and this masterful direction by Mary Harron. All put together, they create something really hilarious. I think it's actually a brilliant satirical commentary on the big corporate businessmen, and as I've said, with all these elements comes an extremely fascinating character study. Because the whole method Mary Harron has of directing this thing, by the end, it really feels like we're inside the head of this guy. And that, in my opinion, is where the scare factor of American Psycho comes in. Because, good lord, why would anyone walking God's green earth want to know what this guy's thinking? I don't think I'm gonna get into spoilers for this one, because I actually want you all to check this one out with fresh eyes, especially if you've never seen it before. I do know a lot of people that have not seen American Psycho, but the way this movie concludes, the arc that Patrick Bateman goes through and the eventual outcome where his character eventually goes, To me, that's freaky as hell. I really don't have a lot to complain about with this movie. I mean, great direction, great camera work, great writing, great performances by everybody included. Bale, of course, is phenomenal. Reese Witherspoon is also really great with the scenes she has. And of course, you also have Willem Dafoe as Detective Donald Kimball, who basically comes in investigating all these disappearances linked right back to Patrick Bateman. I loved his scenes. It added that extra little taste of suspense into this narrative that I think it desperately needed. And Willem Dafoe, of course, great as per. I always love seeing him in movies, no matter what roles he gets. Honestly, this is one of the most original films I think I've ever seen. Even though I've only seen it a small handful of times, I can't wait to examine this movie more and more. I dig American Psycho so much, and I'm gonna give it its well-deserved A+. Again, heed my advice, because obviously I'm recommending this movie to all of you guys. Keep in mind, this is not an intense, scary, theatrical thriller. This is a dark comedy at its core. If you go in expecting to chuckle at Patrick Bateman's whole dilemma, I think you're really gonna love this one. But what do you guys think of American Psycho? Do you guys enjoy it? Do you not? I would love to hear all of those comments from you guys, all those thoughts, all down there. I'd love to discuss them with you guys further, because I think this movie certainly warrants tons of extra discussion. And if you guys are enjoying my content, and if you guys want to see more from me, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can on your way out. That way you guys can be the first to know whenever any of my new videos hits. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a big fat thumbs up on it on your way out. I'd really appreciate that. And of course, look out for more exciting new content to come to the channel, including 2 brand new entries into this Halloween playlist. Expect those videos to drop on Friday and Saturday next week. I'm going more kid-friendly in terms of the films I'm looking at, so keep your eye out for that content. Guys, you're the best. Thank you all so much for tuning into the video. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel up to this point. It means the world to me. And with all that being said, back talk, commence!